Hello everyone.
Hi, Leah here.
So, it's Weird Wednesday. It's Weird Wednesday and I have weird stuff to show you. So, for demo today, I'm gonna do a scan and cut demo because I know there was some interest after we did some scan and cut stuff last week. One of the things I like to do with my scan and cut is cut vinyl. So I'm going to show you guys how to cut two different kinds of vinyl today and talk about some of the differences and some of the things that are the same between them and walk you through how you might handle that. Yeah, the vinyl is really, really fun to work with. You can cut all sorts of really nifty things out of vinyl. And so the two kinds that we have here in store, I have craft vinyl directly from Brother. So craft vinyl is kind of like a big sticker. So we're going to work with that a little bit differently than we're going to work with heat transfer vinyl. So heat transfer vinyl I have in store is the Kimberbell glitter vinyl. And both cut really nicely. You need to treat them almost the same, except one the sticky side is the wrong side and one the sticky side is the right side. So you just need to be aware of mirroring and how you handle it that way. So the newer scan and cut, I'm not going to demo this attachment today because I just have a little piece of craft vinyl. So Brother, the newer scan and cut, the SDX 225, has an optional accessory which is called the roll feeder. It's going to work with the Brother rolls of craft vinyl. So you can cut big long things out of your vinyl. These rolls are 6 feet long and you can cut a whole 6-foot piece all at once. I'm not going to show you that today because the craft vinyl that I brought is, I don't know, 6 inches by 8 inches. So I'm going to cut craft vinyl that way. And then we'll cut some heat transfer vinyl because heat transfer vinyl is a riot. It's really, really, really fun. So we've got a little t-shirt here and our banner over there that says My Sewing Room all over it, like our movie star banner.
Mm-hmm.
That was heat transfer vinyl.
Oh, there you go.
So I cut that at home. And ironed it to a big sheet that used to be a tablecloth or a bed sheet. And we sewed it to make a banner. So let's get right into it because it's going to take me more time than you think, and I get to talk a lot and pick things out. So I grabbed, let's fire up here. So craft vinyl, the sticky side of craft vinyl is on the wrong side of the vinyl. So the sticky side of the vinyl is up against the paper side. So when we're cutting vinyl products, usually they are a 2-layer thing, and you'll want to cut the vinyl layer and not the paper or backing layer, which is not hard to do. Anne has noticed that I didn't finish her spray bottle. It was supposed to have something else below the queen of everything, but when I cut it, I had a disaster, so it didn't happen. So on the scan and cut, which file are we going to use here? There is files built in, so we'll go see if there's something appropriate. She said maybe a butterfly for her water bottle there. Spray bottle. There's a whole bunch of built-in designs. I don't know if I have a good little butterfly. Oh, I do have a little butterfly. Here, let's cut this. 3 inches by 4 inches? Do I have 3 inches by 4 inches? Not quite.
Might be tight.
I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. So I think I have about
Probably 2.5. Yeah, if you want to just lay it up to here, you can.
I think I have 2.5 inches in height. The knife we're going to use for vinyl, the gold topped one on the new scan and cut is for fabric only. So we're going to go back to our standard blade, which has the black top on the SDX. Clip that in. And then I'm going to find our standard mat. Keep all the plasticky things away from the heat press.
I'll just cause a debacle.
Right. And so on the regular vinyl, we're going to stick the paper backing down. And hope that sticks nice and solid.
And is it, oh, that's the standard tack, okay.
Yep. Sure, it's kind of as flat as possible so you don't have any weird lifting ridgy things. And then we're gonna get all.
Will it catch on that bottom right-hand corner?
No, I think we'll be okay.
Okay.
If not, if not, we'll find out the hard way.
Okay.
So like with other scan and cut things, I would highly recommend doing a background scan on your mat to make sure that your design is going to land on top of your product that you want to cut. So on there, it's the blue square for background scan. So when you were looking at this, it shows where we have our vinyl on screen. And I'm just going to make sure that I'm in just a little bit on that so that I have a bit of space around it. We're going to tell it okay.
Is that the standard mat without the fabric grip sheet applied?
Exactly.
Yes, Debbie.
Yes. And I'm going to tell it I want to cut. And then the other thing I'm going to do, on the older machines you had to test the depth because we only want to cut the vinyl layer and not the paper layer. So the older machines you'd have to be really careful with the depth, and it would be like a depth of 1 or 2 depending on your vinyl. On this new machine we have the option of telling it to do a half cut. So what that's going to look like in here is we're going to scroll down and turn our half cut setting on. So this is the thing that screwed me up last week, where I'd been cutting vinyl and forgot, and then it didn't cut fabric. And then I'm going to add in a test cut because I want to make sure that this is going to cut exactly how I expect it to. I'm going to do that right about there. So that's just
We've
that.
added our test cut to the bottom left-hand corner there.
Yeah. And then I'm going to hit go. And the nice thing, like the craft vinyl, this stuff will stick to all sorts of things. So I've got it on a spray bottle here to label stuff for Anna class. So the other thing that's going to make your life way better with working with vinyl is the spatula and hook set that Brother makes. This little hook is pretty pointy, but it's got a nice little tip on it for lifting your vinyl. It's not super sharp, but my little triangle has come out.
And your paper is still there?
And my paper's still there. So that's what I want there.
Mm-hmm.
And I end up with stickers all over everything. Essentially, you've just made a sticker. So we're going to hit start, and we're going to let the rest of this butterfly cut out. The other thing we're going to need is roll of this stuff. So this roll is called transfer paper. And as you can see, on something like this lettering, where the letters are all nicely spaced, you don't want to try and pick up individual letters and move them. It will ruin your life, and the vinyl will probably stick to itself, and then you'll have a disaster, which is what happened with the other piece that I was going to put on here, where it stuck to the transfer thing and to itself, and then did not stick where I needed it. So the transfer paper is kind of like masking.
Waxed.
Yeah, it's kind of like masking tape, kind of tacky, where it's sticky enough to pick up the vinyl off its backing sheet and let it go again. So it's not super sticky, but it allows you to line things up really super accurately.
Why don't you want the paper cut?
So that you can keep your pieces together.
And otherwise you would have to peel paper off of each individual letter.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah. And you would have to move them all individually.
Right.
Not cutting the paper allows you to keep most of it together. But I'm going to leave this stuck to the mat. And I should have...
Come in really close just so you can see that it is cut there.
So what we're going to do now is take out all the pieces of the design we don't want. This step is called weeding, and this is where your little hook and spatula come in handy. So I'm just taking out the vinyl that's in the holes in the design. So that's all the negative space inside the butterfly, all weeded out. Looks pretty sharp. At this point, I'm going to trim this down because I don't want to weed away. I don't want to just peel all that extra vinyl off. That would be a waste of vinyl in my opinion. So when you're sizing out your transfer paper, you can pick a really big piece. For what we need today, I don't need a giant piece, and it'll actually be easier on this curved object to start with a smaller piece. And then the last piece to clear off here, I'm actually just gonna stick this back down flat because it'll be easier to lift it all in a second. So now that my vinyl is nice and small, I'm gonna take the outer part off. We have a beautiful black butterfly. Okay, so our transfer paper is, again, it's sticky on the back. So it's two parts. There's a paper layer so you can save this piece for later and stick it back on its blue piece. The clear stuff with the grid lines is what you're going to use to lift your design. So in here, there's some spots in here that are like curly cues that aren't really connected on both ends. So stuff like this, it's really important that you want those to stay where they are when you move your design. So your transfer paper is going to let you do that. We're going to stick the transfer paper really solid to the vinyl. And if this goes like I think it should, this is a new piece of transfer paper, so it'll probably go great.
Do you use it more than once if you can sometimes?
I would.
Yeah, okay.
I would. The vinyl releases pretty easily from the paper backing, but some of those curly cues don't. So you'll just want to lift carefully when you remove your paper backing. Stay down. So now we have butterfly on clear transfer paper, all as one piece with our curly cues where they need to be.
Where they're supposed to be.
Where they're supposed to be. So if this was lettering, this is how you can pick up and move an entire word and keep your letter spacing appropriate. We're just gonna, this is not centered. I'm sorry, Anne. It's not my finest work. So once the vinyl is where you want it, then you can start gently peeling away the transfer paper. because the vinyl's going to stick better to the bottle or what you're sticking it to than the transfer paper is going to stick to the vinyl. Ta-da!
There we go.
So not super hard, but a really fun way to customize with your scan and cut. And that was just a built-in design. Not the queen of everything. That was from other places. But you'll notice I didn't get that straight at all. I don't think I had gridded transfer paper when I did that part. So, craft vinyl works like that. And you're cutting the right way out, so you wouldn't need to worry about mirroring your text.
Mm-hmm.
So this craft vinyl is easier to cut because you don't have to worry about that part of it. But heat transfer vinyl is the exact opposite. So heat transfer vinyl has a built-in transfer layer. So funny little yellow shirt. My children are not that shape. They're not that wide.
It's bright.
It's so bright. So we're just going to add some text and customize a little kid shirt.
Nice.
So the Kimberbell heat transfer vinyl is glittery. It's so sparkly. So much fun. And it's 9 inches wide, I believe. No, it's 7.5 inches wide. That's just fine. We'll make something that's 7.5 inches wide. So the backing is kind of a, I don't know, milky matte finish. Yeah. And the really, really glittery side is next to the transfer layer. So again, two-part cut. And the clear layer is going to be what we stick down on the mat. Sometimes these ones that have been rolled like to stay rolly. So on the scan and cut, I have a rough idea of what I was going to make. I'm going to go back to the home screen. I'm actually just going to do some text because this is going to hang in the store. And I've got a plan. That one is good. Heat transfer vinyl. That's a nice size, 5 inches. Nope, 4 inches. Let's do 5.5. There we go. We're gonna add so fun things that I've seen people do with this. I had one lady in one of my scan and cut classes who made a whole bunch of the Real Housewives shirts with heat transfer vinyl. So for her and all her friends from her campground, the Real Housewives of the name of the campground. It was great.
That's very fun.
Yeah. So once you have your designs, I'm going to go into edit. I'm going to select all, which is the red boxes to do a multiple select and select everything on the mat. Oh no, I'm not going to do that yet. Hang on. I'm going to get them roughly lined up and then I'm going to go select all. So we're going to select all, and then in this toolbar I have the option of alignment. There we go. Okay, HTV, cut with scan and cut.
Have you spelled it right?
I don't know.
Gwen, double check her.
Okay, so once this is all together, I'm pretty happy with that. We could add something.
Pretty lined up, yeah.
Pretty lined up. I'm going to group these together. So we're going to go back and select them all again. And then object edit. This is my grouping function. The advantage to grouping is then I can move my whole design all at once without somebody falling out of alignment. And the other thing that's going to allow me to do is mirror my whole design. So with heat transfer vinyl, if you're doing text, you need to mirror your design once it's ready to cut because the good side of your vinyl is down. So this is our mirror function. And that all looks super backwards. Super duper backwards, but that's okay. And then I'm gonna hit OK. So I'm gonna load my mat and do a background scan, as I always suggest you do at home. Okay. I'm gonna shimmy that and make it just a little skinnier and smaller. It's just really close to the edge. I don't really want to risk things going sideways. But that's a nice chunk of vinyl used without being overly painful. So we're going to select cut. I'm going to keep that half cut on, and I'm going to add in a test cut again. Okay, let's go for it. The tricky part is seeing where your test cut happened. Sometimes it's nearly impossible, but that is a very pretty little red triangle of glitter. So I'm happy with that cut. I'm gonna hit start again, and it's gonna finish cutting. There's our negative. So I've got my reliable heat press here today. Steam press, it's got a big tank of water underneath so you can actually steam. It has a digital readout on the top, so you can tell it what type of fabric you're going to be working with, and it'll set the temperature appropriately. You can have steam or no steam. It takes a little while to heat up because it's a way bigger surface area to heat than a regular iron. So a couple of the reasons I decided to get a steam press, one of them being heat transfer vinyl. It's really important with heat transfer vinyl to get your entire design heated enough to stick evenly, which is difficult if you're using an iron and counting patiently. The other thing it works really, really nicely for is pressing fusible interfacings onto things. So the gym bag I made for my husband, it took me just seconds to apply all of the fusible interfacing that needed. But because it has this big surface area, you can fuse a whole piece of interfacing all at once, which
It's really nice.
is really, really nice. I hate fusing interfacing. I have it set for the cotton setting, which is quite hot, which will be just fine with this heat transfer vinyl. Most heat transfer vinyl will tell you the temperature it needs to be fused at. If I was doing this on something for my kids and was really super concerned about getting it centered, I would mark with chalk or fold. I'm gonna steam it flat.
Nice.
Voila. I'm going to turn the steam back off because I don't need steam on for the vinyl. I'm going to get that nice and high. Center that T under the collar there. I think will be good. So we're going to do about 10 seconds This way, and then I'm going to take the paper off and do it again. 8 hippopotamus, 9 hippopotamus, 10. And then it's yelling at me. So depending on your heat transfer vinyl, some of it needs to have the backing layer peeled when it's cool, and some when it's hot. The Kimberbell stuff peels nicely when it's hot. And 1010. I have a really super flat shirt. I'm gonna let that cool a second. So quick and easy. It's super fun.
That is pretty quick, pretty slick.
So,
There we go, and we can even read it.
from 6 feet away? Well, you guys are all more than 6 feet away, so I think we're good.
Absolutely, you can read it from 6
And
feet
it's
away.
sparkly!
Yes.
So, heat transfer vinyl looks intimidating, but it's actually super duper easy. And it's really fun. Because what kid doesn't want glitter vinyl on their shirts? The t-shirt is washable. Totally washable. My kids' stuff I've thrown through the wash every week. I'm lazy with their laundry, so it gets dried on high, washed in cold, and they come out just fine. They wear them lots and lots. As long as they're ironed properly for the fusible heat transfer vinyl you're using, the vinyl shouldn't lift kind of over the lifetime of like a normal lifespan of a shirt. And then kids need new shirts all the time anyway. Some of these novelty things don't get worn as much as regular stuff, but there's so many cute things you can do. Weird Wednesday with our cute little shirt. It might need some other embellishments, but I don't know yet. I have red open at the moment, so we'll see. So,
All right.
thanks for your help, Gwen.
No problems. Glad I could help.
Thanks for joining me today. Be kind, be safe, be calm, be happy that you can stay home and isolate, and thanks for joining me today. We'll see you guys tomorrow for something different. Bye.